It turns out that I was still too late for the moment of sunrise. Whatever. At least the view was great, the free hotel breakfast was good, and the air temperature wasn't too bad, at least for that moment. Yep, the weather forecast said that Flores will be 41 degrees Celsius on that day. Well, I guess before the temperature turns ugly, better get out of the town and be at the fully air-conditioned airport as soon as possible. To escape the imminent heat, I enlisted the help of a local amigo who I just met through paying some cash. Well, hotel taxis were 3 times more expensive. Just a few days back, through the window of my air-conditioned minivan, I was curious about who the passengers of these tuk-tuks are and what kind of lives they live. Now, all that curiosity is gone because I just realized that I am the tuk-tuk passenger I was curious about a few days ago.
Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday. Right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4.
Around 10 minutes later, I arrived at Flores Mundo Maya International Airport. I think I arrived way too early, as none of the check-in counters were open. Whatever, at least I don't have to worry about the incoming 41 degrees weather anymore.
Alright folks, I just got into the airport and it was really funny with the tuk-tuk ride from the town to here. It's about 3 kilometers. It's kind of hot. A funny thing was that yesterday I confirmed the price with one driver from the town and he told me it was 25 quetzales. So I was ready to talk it down to 20. And then this morning when I tried to get the actual tuk-tuk and I asked the price and he said 15. And in the beginning I thought it was something like 50. So I was trying to talk him down to 20 quetzales. But it turns out that 15 is 15. And then right before I realized it was the case, so I confirmed with him that it was 15. So yeah, that tuk-tuk ride cost about 15 quetzales from Flores to the airport. And the funny thing is yesterday when I was trying to confirm the ride, I did not have anything. I was just asking, and I thought maybe with luggage they might know I'm in a hurry, they might rip me off. And then today, this morning, I walked to the street with my luggage and got an even cheaper ride. I feel like that's pretty reasonable, you know, considering the cost. That's like seriously a bottle of water at a tourist shop. So I think it's kind of reasonable, but maybe, you know, like for locals it's going to be even cheaper, but very happy with the price because the hotel offers 50 quetzales for a taxi transfer, and the whole ride took about 10 minutes and it was fast and furious.
I actually saw both yesterday, and yes, it was right here. Actually just beside this specific temple. On the way back to Guatemala City, I also took the infamous TAG Airlines. Yep, walking from the terminal to the plane is expected. But hey, at least the flight departed on time. As my flight took off, I noticed that the so-called Guatemala Lowlands isn't as flat as I thought. I could see rolling hills going for miles. Could there be secrets hidden beneath the surface? Are these in fact Mayan structures reclaimed by the jungle after the fall of the ancient Mayan civilization? I guess only time will tell as more archaeological breakthroughs come to light and more advanced technologies become available to archaeologists. In only a matter of a short time, the landscape outside the plane window transformed into towering mountains. We're back to Guatemala's Central Highlands. There were a lot of fire and smoke burning in the plane sight, causing the entire landscape to be smoggy. What's going on? Little did I know that the smoky situation did have an impact to our subsequent adventure in the Central Highlands area, very unfortunately. Upon landing, of course, we walked from the plane back into the terminal building of Guatemala City International Airport. As I was exiting, I passed by a bunch of people in uniforms. Sorry folks, I'm a busy man, gotta go. However, as I stepped outside of the terminal building, I saw the media was waiting right outside. What was going on? I don't think our YouTube channel is that famous, huh? Now I couldn't re-enter the security zone to find out what was going on, so I went into the family waiting area next door instead. Oh, so I just passed by the Guatemala national football team without knowing? Well, it's still kind of not too late. I was able to get a picture with two team members over the glass. By the way, anyone knows who they are? Please let me know. Muchas gracias. Alright, so I just got into Guatemala City Airport, and it's supposed to be 38 degrees in Flores, and now it's almost 10 degrees lower. So right now it's 20 degrees. But of course, this is not my final destination. Hopefully it gets even cooler over there. I booked the transfer with my hotel in my next destination, and I told them to find me at Cafe Paleto, which is a popular place for airport pickups, as it is a bit easier to park in the front and less crowded for the driver to find you than the main exit area of the airport. Sometime later, a man with a sign Sayu Rinpoche showed up. I followed him and got into a white Guatemala City taxi. I was expecting a minibus or a van. And the hotel, which is a 4 hours drive away, upgraded my ride? Just when I was thinking, another passenger showed up. Oh well, time to wake up from a sweet dream. Fortunately, there was no one else, just the two of us and the driver. Little did I know at the time that even a white taxi from Guatemala City can be so dramatic that both the US State Department and the Canadian government warned people not to take it. Now let's take a look at what the travel advisory says. Okay, so white taxis are considered dangerous. You might be facing extortions, petty theft, and other crimes. Avoid using white taxis being emphasized here again. Now never share a taxi with strangers. Check, 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 and check. Well, I guess now it doesn't really matter anymore. None of that happened to me. Nor was I aware of this kind of travel advisory at the time. The taxi driver told me his job was to transport the two of us from the airport to Antigua, Guatemala, where we will be transferred to another shuttle to our final destination. The only issue was there was a traffic deadlock blocking the only way into Antigua, Guatemala. If we got stuck there, we would sure miss our shuttle, and maybe even spend the night in some rundown hotel so that I can catch the next available shuttle, which is in the next morning. Guess what? Fortunately, I was in a small white taxi that is supposed to be dangerous. The driver went off the road in between the trees, and we found ourselves now on a literally empty country road going towards the direction of Antigua, Guatemala. What else can I say now? Thank you so much for being so dangerous, amigo. The other passenger and I got dropped off at some city park, where we connected with a proper shuttle bus. Shortly afterwards, the shuttle departed for the final destination of this travel day, Panajachel. It was also my first time seeing Antigua, Guatemala, although we will be exploring much more of it a bit later in our Guatemala adventure. Make sure you subscribe to our channel if you haven't already done it yet, so that you can easily track every single video of our Guatemala series. Once the shuttle leaves the city proper of Antigua, Guatemala, we're in the countryside of Guatemala's Central Highlands. Before this trip, I knew very little about this country. I still probably do. One thing that was stuck in my head was that Guatemala is one of the least wealthy countries in the Americas. I watched TV shows on Guatemala's countryside. It was a place where people had no access to adequate housing, proper food, and yeah, you know what I'm talking about if you also live in a developed English-speaking country. But based on what I saw along the way and in a different part of the country when I visited Tikal, I realized that things are quite different from what I had imagined. Yeah, there might be a few people who unfortunately still live like that. But during the 4-hour drive from Antigua, Guatemala to Panajachel, I didn't see anything that would fit what I saw on TV. Instead of seeing people living in huts with no electricity or water, I saw lots of new constructions in the fields that looked far more solid and reliable than our post-pandemic built wooden houses and apartments found in Canada and the United States. Gosh, they even have 5G cell phone signals out here in what I would call the middle of nowhere. Way better than a gas station close to where I live in Metro Vancouver. My phone often shows no signal whenever I go there for gasoline. I guess Guatemala of today isn't Guatemala of the past as shown on TV. People's lives have improved a lot ever since. More and more people have been alleviated out of extreme poverty. From the window of the shuttle bus, I think I was witnessing something remarkable. A country moving forward in live action. Alright folks, I just made it into Panajachel. We're on the shore of Lake Atitlán, which is the largest lake here in Guatemala. And yeah, we got in very, very late. And because of the road closures and also some police roadblocks that were put on the main road between Guatemala City and Panajachel. So we did a detour around the countryside of the Central Highlands. When I got in, it was already pitch dark.
I just went to grab some dinner because I was so hungry. I did not really have a real lunch today. Fortunately, there are restaurants pretty close to the hotel, and it was really good. I really enjoyed the meal. And that means we're probably just gonna leave the exploration till tomorrow then. So today is a rest day, and I finally escaped the heat of Flores and Tikal. I just checked. Right now it's only 15 degrees Celsius. So I guess our escape from the heat was a huge success. The only downside other than the delay was, of course, the shuttle bus and the agency told me that they're going to drop me off at the hotel, but they didn't. So they dropped off somewhere like 1 kilometer away. I had to find my way to my hotel in the darkness, but that was fine. It turns out that Panajachel is a very, very, very busy city, busy town, or village, whatever you call that. And yeah, it looks like there's a lot of actions going on. But still, I'm trying to recover from my Tikal sunrise tour, and I'm already feeling tired.
For the rest of the evening, I took it easy in the hotel room. The room did not have an air conditioning unit, but as we were in the Central Highlands, the nights were cool and therefore no aircon was needed. There was a sign in the room saying that the tap water was not safe even for brushing teeth. Well, I kind of knew this before coming here, so I had always been brushing teeth with bottled water since my arrival in Guatemala. Thanks for the reminder anyways. Fortunately, they do have purified water available literally right outside of my room in the hallway. Definitely saved me trips to convenience stores and the money for bottled water. For the moment, I was as happy as this guy. As for everything else, we worry about them later. Or rather, we'll worry about them in the next episode.